man.
Okay, praised and patted the head from their liberal handlers, and they were eager to please the Democratic machine and willingly walked into a trap. Now, in their pursuit of personal validation and career advancement, these individuals took on the monumental risk of targeting one of the most powerful and divisive figures in modern political history or in the landscape. And that's President-elect Donald J. Trump. And these prosecutors didn't just poke a bear, they grabbed the tiger by the tail. And now, exactly what I warned about has come to pass. As of November 2024, Donald Trump has been reelected as the 47th president of the United States. And his inauguration is set for January 20th, 2025. This is not just a political victory for Trump. It is a seismic shift in the balance of power. Many of the same people who thought they were bringing Trump to his knees are now finding themselves scrambling to escape the inevitable blowback. Take, for example, special counsel Jack Smith, who upon learning of Trump's victory, miraculously and quickly found reason to dismiss the case the next day, citing legal technicalities and procedural hurdles. Consequently, Smith has also announced his intention to retire from the United States Attorney's Office, signaling his intent to quietly leave the stage before the full weight of political retaliation comes crashing down. Now, another notable figure, his name is Damian Williams. He's a U.S. attorney, and he gained notoriety from his prosecution of New York Mayor Eric Adams and other high-profile cases going way back, including the Sean Puffy Combs prosecution. Now, Williams is now willing to forego his promising career as a federal prosecutor. Clearly recognizing the storm that's brewing. I'm talking about hurricane-style storm. And with Eric Adams now aligning himself as a political ally of Donald Trump, Williams sees the writing on the wall and has decided it's time to get out the game. But what about Alvin Bragg and Fonnie Willis? These two prosecutors remain steadfast in their pursuit of Trump, while others are exiting the stage. They headed out the back door. These two people continue to hold on to the tiger's tail, seemingly unaware or perhaps unwilling to acknowledge the precariousness of their position. Their determination to stay the course risk not only their careers, but also their reputation as they stand on the brink of becoming political cannon fodder. Now, what could have been promising, or should I say, what could have been a great career, an illustrious career for both Bragg and Willis, now teeter on the edge of collapse. The Democrats who once championed them have largely gone silent, leaving them isolated as the tide shifts back to Trump's favor. They become symbols of overreach, pawns in a game they can no longer control. Today's broadcast, what we're going to do today is we're going to unpack how we arrived at this point, the power dynamics, the play, and the consequences of their decisions. And we will examine how the Democrats' short-sighted strategy has backfired and why these prosecutors are now trapped in a political quagmire. Now, what we're going to do here, I have a few videos, and I want you to understand what's going on. First thing, I want you to look at J.D. Vance. Shout out to my man, Jamal Smith. Thank you so much for being the second person to contribute to the super chat. Thank you so much. Check out J.D. Vance.
Clinton's failed presidential campaign. Is that correct?
Fair use.
I was proud to be chief financial officer to the Clinton campaign.
Great. Chairman Gensler, is it also correct that your current enforcement director, Gerber Grewal, was most recently the Attorney General of New Jersey? A yes or no answer will suffice.
He served his nation well, and he was Attorney General of New Jersey.
So just to recap, the Attorney General of New Jersey is the guy who refused to enforce immigration laws and cooperate with.
Now, just to establish what we're looking at, J.D. Vance is a senator. This is a Senate hearing, and this is one of Joe Biden's flunkies that he put in the Department of Justice. And he's asking them questions like, you're putting these people in office who got problems with Donald Trump, you're putting them in. You're part of the Department of Justice. You're supposed to be fair, balanced, and not have enemies and political enemies. But the people you put in charge all have a problem with Donald Trump. That's what he's saying. Listen to him. Keep in mind, J.D. Vance is a Yale trained trial lawyer. So keep listening.
With ICE, he also launched, I believe, 8 separate investigations against Donald Trump during his time as Attorney General. Chairman Gensler, is it also correct that your recently hired General Counsel, Megan Barbero, was previously Deputy General Counsel under Nancy Pelosi and litigated 2 impeachment hearings against Donald Trump?
I believe she was Deputy General Counsel of the House of Representatives.
Great. So, and I'll also note that one of your senior enforcement counsels is married to Peter Strzok. My point here, Mr. Gensler, is that you seem to have a very troubling pattern of hiring at an impartial regulatory agency a lot of people who seem to have a vendetta against the former president. And I fear, and I
you hear that? You are hiring people that have a vendetta against Donald Trump. So getting them then to exercise lawfare against Donald Trump is not going to be a stretch. That's what he's saying. Keep listening.
Worry that has implicated itself and affected the policy at the SEC. Chairman Gensler, when did the SEC take its first enforcement action against a SPAC? Do you know the exact?
Now, this guy is the chairman of the SEC. The SEC regulates the Wall Street Stock Exchange, okay, and other financial areas. But just keep listening, because it's the same general principle as what we're dealing with the Department of Justice. Keep listening.
Senator, we'd have to get back to you. I don't know what decade that was.
So according to my staff's research, September of 2021 is the first time that you guys at the SEC launched enforcement action against a SPAC. So I want to recap just a few things, and then I want to ask a question. First, you were Clinton's finance director in 2016, Hillary Clinton's finance director. Second, you hired anti-Trump enforcement director Grewal in July of 2021. Third, you brought in Ms. Barbero, who was the litigator on 2 House impeachment trials against Donald Trump. You have another enforcement counsel who is married to Peter Strzok. In November of 2021, Senator Warren urged you to investigate the SPAC merger involving Donald Trump's Truth Social company. And in December of 2021...
So you see how he's laying out how the fact you're targeting Donald Trump? Why are you doing that? You know, why are all these people who don't like Donald Trump are now working for you, and now you're targeting Donald Trump? Look, where there's smoke, there's fire. Let's keep listening. A few weeks
later, you guys launched an investigation using a novel legal theory against the former president.
Novel means BS legal theory. When lawyers say novel, that means BS. I want y'all to type BS in the chat room. Keep listening. BS. And for you guys who like to use curse words, I mean, as long as YouTube doesn't ban you, it's BS. But type it out.
President's social media company. That is some coincidence, isn't it, Mr. Gensler?
Senator, it is good to meet you in person, but
don't change the subject. Good to meet you.
Not correct.
What was I not correct about there?
What was I not? Come on, tell me.
We follow the facts and the law wherever they are.
Oh,
and
really?
With regard to the SPAC field, the Special Purpose Acquisition Company field, there have been abuses, as you mentioned, one in 2018 that we found.
So he's just talking crap. Let's look at this.
Drop all charges, but she dismissed the case without prejudice.
I want y'all to check this out. Fair use. So this is what's going on.
President-elect Trump getting a major legal victory over the federal government's cases against him. The judge in his
just laying the foundation. This is less than a week after Donald Trump was reelected. Okay, this is less than a week. Jack Smith filed a let's dismiss this judge. I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of this business. This is all this lead up. They got appeals going on, but for now, for some amazing reason, they found a reason to drop this case. Let's keep listening.
Election interference case granting special counsel Jack Smith's motion to drop all charges. But she dismissed the case without prejudice, leaving the possibility of the government to bring back the charges.
Dismiss without prejudice means they can come back after he's not president. I want y'all to keep that in mind. Do you think it's wise? Okay, do you think it's wise to allow these people to still have the power to come back and get you 4 years when you're 84 years old? If you think that's a wise decision, you would be a fool. And so that means that Donald Trump has no choice but to deal with these people when he has all the power he needs as the president of the United States to do so. These folks are going to have a problem.
Party going on, we all looking at Dennis. Spurling and subscribe, it only take you a minute. Hit the cash app, super chat, be a penny. One is real good, but 20 more will be plenty. Blizzard King pay a visit, Big Vance my witness. Appreciate the love, that's black men doing business. Stand up, father and brother, lawyer is he. Hall of Fame game, he's known as Uncle D. Tell it just like B, representing for we know time is money, you learning and pay a fee. Know it's cold outside, but the podcast hot. Giving you a feeling that these others ain't got. Say it's cold outside, but the podcast hot. Giving you a feeling that these others ain't got. Yeah, know that the blizzard come through. Bundle up for the winner, know this it. Darren Hay watch views. Hit the light, you know that the blizzard come through. Bundle up for the winner, know this it. Darren Hay watch views. Hit the light.
We still look at all the beautiful music that we've created. That's what's on the inside of us. We are wonderful people.